Hey guys, ZeroArmada here. I'm going to do my first impression gameplay and commentary for Battlefield 4. Before I kind of really get started into that, I want to give some background information that's kind of relevant for this commentary. Battlefield 2 was using the Refractor 2 engine, which was kind of the proprietary engine for DICE in the Battlefield games at the time, and it was released in 2005. So, Battlefield 3 was released in 2011. And then Battlefield 4 was released in 2013, of course. And kind of what I'm really trying to get at with that, and kind of giving you guys a timeline of those specific games in general, is what I really appreciated from DICE from Battlefield 3 was it took them 6 years to go from Battlefield 2 to Battlefield 3, which is probably kind of one of the longest time periods or time frames for a main series game. And kind of what I mean by that's like, Call of Duty 3 to Call of Duty 4, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 to Modern Warfare 2, probably, at least half that time frame, not even, maybe even half. So, really, DICE took a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of playtesting, a lot of QA. They kind of basically used a couple of games as kind of test engines or test beds for the Frostbite engine that they were building for Battlefield 3 with Battlefield 1943, Bad Company 1, Bad Company 2, which was kind of the featured games for the Frostbite 1 engine and Frostbite 2 engine. Like, those games were really the test bed for the Frostbite engine before they actually migrated that and used that for Battlefield 3. And that's kind of what I really appreciate about that, is the fact that they didn't make Battlefield 3 a cookie-cutter game from Battlefield 2. They didn't basically, try to stick a band-aid onto the Battlefield 2 engine and kind of pass it off as a new game. It's not a DLC. It's not an expansion. It's a completely new game that's revolutionary at that time. And that's really kind of one of my main gripes with Battlefield 4 is they didn't really take that next step with Battlefield 4 like they did with Battlefield 3. It's basically a Call of Duty type game where they made some minor improvements. Graphics were minorly improved. Of course, you want to talk about the Levolution and the massive destruction as kind of buzzwords for Battlefield 4. But aside from that, a lot of stuff's, all the assets itself, the models, the animations, those are all reused for Battlefield 3. Battlelog is pretty much the same exact structure and basically the same exact piece of software that was for Battlefield 3. Minor improvements there. There was no real concerned effort from trying to make another revolutionary game, which was what Battlefield 3 was, I think, at least in my mind. The graphics are still, of course, extraordinary. Gameplay itself for a huge multiplayer game is, of course, the best. You don't really play Battlefield 4 for its single-player campaign, to be honest. I mean, let's just be honest, you don't buy Battlefield 4 for the campaign. So, there's been gripes about the campaign being, really short, like a 4-hour campaign. But that's fine for me, because if you're buying Battlefield, you're buying it for the multiplayer experience, first and foremost. So that's not really an issue for me, at least. But that's my major gripe. They could have made another Bad Company. They could have made 2143. They could have made 1944. They could have made another kind of a side game. Wait a couple of years, keep on improving the Frostbite engine, and kind of release Battlefield 4 when you have some momentum and when you have something that's really substantial to kind of warrant a new main Battlefield game, if you get what I mean. So that's kind of my main gripe with that. Of course, the game itself is fun. There's been some real concerns and issues from a PC standpoint in terms of the performance, reliability of the game, a lot of constant crashing, freezing. Kind of course, just some tips. Definitely update your drivers if you haven't. They have some, NVIDIA has ready, or game ready drivers for Battlefield 4. I don't know about AMD. I'm guessing they have the same thing. I have an NVIDIA card, so that's really all I know about that. But those will definitely help out a lot. Of course, lower your settings. Other thing is for netcode, the game is of course pretty laggy at times too. There's a I don't remember the exact setting name. I'll probably just annotate this specific section, but there's like a multiplayer lag compensation setting under game settings definitely turn that to 0. That'll really alleviate if you're getting like shot behind walls, or bullets are like curving around walls and you're getting killed like at a 90-degree angle and stuff like that. That'll definitely alleviate some of that problems. They released the patch, and that's kind of helped it a little bit. Game's a little bit more stable, at least for me. Of course, results may vary, but if you're really making a kind of a decision on whether or not you want to buy the game, I'd definitely hold off, to be honest. I think really you'll get your money's worth if you wait until the game, price lowers, because of course you're coming out with DLC, of course. So there'll be some sales. They'll probably have like a free week too, so you can kind of test out the game yourself and see if it's worth it. But really, I think if you play Battlefield 3, you won't really miss a thing. I mean, ultimately it's kind of disappointing to say, but it's really the same game. I mean, there's nothing really that much that's changed from one game to another, and that's kind of why I really appreciate, like I said, how Battlefield 2 and Battlefield 3 made a momentum changing jump from one game to the other, and kind of that's where Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 fails completely on that aspect alone. And that's, of course, they're trying to compete with Call of Duty, I understand that, and I mean, kind of using that same strategy of just making a DLC type game, passing off as $60, I don't think that's really right. And of course, they don't care what I say, so they're gonna keep doing it. But that's just my general thoughts about the game. Honestly, if I had to if I had the decision back when I bought the game, I probably wouldn't have bought the game. I got it for $48 off Green Man Gaming, but I think, like I said, it probably would be better off just waiting, at least for the game to be a little more stable, have them patch it a couple times, and then make an ultimate decision on whether or not you want to buy the game, maybe if it's on sale or something like that. But that's really all I had to say about that. Like I said, in terms of the actual game itself, if you haven't played Battlefield 3, or if you don't really care that it's pretty much the same game, graphics are amazing. Guns really feel responsive when you shoot them. You feel kind of a rewarding feeling when you get a kill with any of the guns. I mean, of course, there's the bullet drop from distance, so you really have to be on par with your gun skills to kind of get consistent kills and get consistent shots and stuff like that. Of course, team-based aspects, like, roles are really important in the game. If you're a medic, you have to heal, you have to revive your teammates. You get a lot of points off of that, and that's really how you make most of your bank. Not just by killing, but the game really makes a focused incentive on giving you rewards for playing a team-based playstyle. And that's really good. I mean, if you really have a clan or a gaming group and you just want to have fun, and you don't really care about kills and stuff like that, and you're just trying to, win the game, this game really rewards that type of game style, and that's kind of where Battlefield 4 shines on that regard. And of course, you have myriad of weapons, vehicles, and that, like I said, most of that stuff's the same from Battlefield 4 to Battlefield 3, so I'm not going to really talk about that. I mean, it's all pretty prevalent if you've played the previous game. But that's pretty much it for my initial reviews about the game. Like I said, just the whole fact that it's kind of a Call of Duty type game, making it kind of a DLC type game, just turns me off from the game. But that's my initial review. If you have any questions or comments, or if you need me to elaborate on anything else about the game, definitely leave a comment down below. And thanks for watching as always, guys. Much appreciated.